Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sock Talks with Joy and Sean. I'm glad you're with us here today. And as we always like to say, pass it on, tag your folks, get the message out there. We hope we can inspire you a little bit more today. Because I know, Sean and I were talking a little bit before this on the word promptings.
Well, it is why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. Is this not
It-
why we're here?
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but what we want to talk about today, yes, we're going to make the assumption that everybody acts on their promptings and sends cards. I mean, that's why Cody started Send Out Cards when he lost his brother and he made a promise and he wanted to find something. Now we have this vehicle that's impacting millions of lives. But are you really taking it? Are you recognizing it? As you said, Joy, are you recognizing all your promptings? And when you're, and what I mean by that is, say and I think we're all getting back to hanging out at coffee shops when we do one-to-ones or whatever, and you see the same person every time you're there. Or you go to the grocery store and you see the same person. Or you go to a networking group event, live event, and you key in on one or two people. And are you making that connection?
Mm-hmm.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's true. It's kind of like, if you ever gone someplace, you see somebody, you go someplace else, you see that person again. And it's like, okay,
Red flag.
that's twice in 1 week. That's twice in 1 week. It's so funny because it's just yesterday when I went to another networking ring and I wrecked into somebody. I said, this is like the fourth time we've seen each other this week.
Right. The universe is trying to tell us something.
Yeah, that's right. Something is saying, okay, we've got to make a stronger connection here. There's some reason why that person keeps popping up into your mind, or into your face. I should say in your face, in your space.
Right.
You're seeing them all the time. So are you acting on those promptings? Are you doing something to build those connections stronger? The cards. We all know how to do the cards.
Right.
But is there a little bit more? Is there something you need to do?
And that's easy to say, I thought of somebody, let me send them a card. It's more difficult, I'll give you that, when you see somebody 2 or 3 times in the space of a week or 2 weeks to walk up and say, hey, weren't you at, see how easy that was? It's not. I think we build it up like, well, they probably don't want to meet me and I don't, you got all these, listen, quiet that little voice. Just go walk up to them and say, man, I've seen you at a couple different events. Hey, I'm Sean. What's your name? What do you do? How can we help each other? Because there is a reason. There is a reason that you're running into people multiple times.
Right.
And I think it goes back to, it's up to us to make that move, make that connection.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, I was sharing with Sean earlier that I went to there was a chamber appreciation luncheon yesterday where business owners could bring their associates and people they work with and sponsor, and it's a real nice event. And I was one of the sponsors of it with a basket. So I decided to go anywhere. Well, they assigned tables to everybody. Okay, because they want to make sure a different group. That's fine. I'm perfectly fine with them assigning tables. And I don't care if I know other people. It's like, there's a reason why. And that's why I got there early enough. I got to my table, number 19, sat down, put my purse down, went ahead and put tickets in baskets, all that kind of stuff. There was nobody there yet. I was the first one at that table. So anybody coming afterwards, they have choices of where to sit. Everybody has choices at that table. And I wind up next to a bank, a banker that, it's a small bank. They only have like 12 branches, and he kind of like oversees all of them, and on the other side of me was an empty seat, wound up empty seat. And then one next to her was somebody, she must be my downline somewhere, because honestly, in talking about Send Out Cards at one point, she says, oh, I've got to get back to using it again. And it's like, okay, and then in between her sits another person that I knew at another networking thing. But the point of all this was there was all kinds of different people that I've met in my life. Oh, and across from me was a car dealership that had put an account up under somebody else underneath me. But the point of it is the fella next to me to the left had no idea what I did. And we didn't really even talk too much about it, but the other people talked for me.
Yeah.
it was just kind of like it was just kind of like a surreal moment that all that kind of stuff happened. And so you think to yourself, okay, what do? You know, how are you going to approach this? You know, and you know, you really didn't have to approach it any more than, hey, it was great meeting you. Let me have your card, you know, we'll be in, you know, let's
Let's
connect
stay in
later
touch.
on.
Let's make,
You know,
yeah,
let's stay in touch, you know, kind of thing. It was just like a perfect little storm here. And while we were sitting there talking, someone got up, oh, the chamber president got up, and he was talking about how important relationships were, you know, and how important to thank your staff, you know, and how important, and I'm sitting there doing like, yeah, 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 you know, I mean, you know, it's all
can help
things.
you with that. Anyone?
Yeah, yeah, we do that. And the fella next to me, as he was sitting there, and at one point, all I had to do was say to him, you know, this is why I love doing what I'm doing,
Yeah,
because this is so important, you know. And I mean, it was just like it was like a surreal thing, but it's things you think about, you know. I mean, there's a prompting there.
absolutely. Well, and have you had a prompting, you sent the card, and then you had a same prompting and another prompting about the same person, you know? So maybe that's the time to go, you know, maybe I should call them or text them and see if we
Yes,
can get together.
yes.
You know, it's not just the one and done. I don't want to say it, you know, but you send a card and you're like, all right. And then you think about another day or two, you think about them again. Either they need something that you can help them with, but or there is a reason that you're having those
And you
promptings.
know what? That's a very good point about that kind of prompting. Many times when we send a card to somebody, you think about them again because you're wondering if they got it.
True, true,
And that's not a prompting.
right,
That's not a problem. That's you. That's you.
right,
A prompting is like, for some reason you come across that, that person comes to mind again. And then
right.
you go and look and you see, wow, I sent them a card like way back when, but for some reason they're on my mind now. You know, there's another reason for that.
Time to
So
reach out.
time to reach out. Time.
So first, be aware that you're having promptings other than the prompting to send a card.
Right.
Second, are you recognizing when you see somebody often in this short period of time, that's a prompting for you to go make a connection.
That's one of those
Um,
coinky dink things, you know?
yeah. You know what? I think I've always said people are put in front of you that are meant to be in front of you. It's our free will to act on it or not.
Hmm.
But what you'll find when you act on it, it leads to a better life. It really does.
It does. It
You know,
does. It
if
does.
you make a great connection or they've helped you in your business or you've helped them somehow, which makes you feel good. So, recognize those promptings beyond the sending the cards and act on them. That's
Hmm.
why we're here.
Hmm.
And it
Yeah.
will make the place better.
Yeah, yeah. And you notice everything that Sean and I talked about today, it wasn't nothing was about us. You know, you never uh, you know, some people say you got to take care of yourself. Yeah, you do have to take care of yourself. But life doesn't have to be all about you when it comes to, well, promptings are not about you.
No.
Promptings are about other people,
Right.
you know, you know, we all have stories. We all continue to have stories about how you've had the prompting, you have sent the card in this case, and the day they get it, they needed that
Yeah,
card.
absolutely.
They needed that card.
And it's
And
not, again, like Joy said, it's not on your timeline. It's on their timeline.
no,
Once you hit send, it's the universe that they'll open it when they need it.
yeah, that's exactly right. And
And that
how
could
many
be
times,
4 days, that could be 4 weeks.
yeah, how many people said to you, like, I don't go to my office anymore and I just got your card,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was great. I needed that today. Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, it's just, you know, that people are going to get the card. So if you go around and ignore these promptings or don't think that they're important to you when somebody comes to you 2 or 3 times, or you see them 2 or 3 times, or whatever the case may be, you're wrong for not
Right.
acting on it and doing
And
what.
even going so far as, LinkedIn or, Facebook or Instagram, whatever you guys use to make connections, you know, if you're scrolling and somebody catches your eye, that's one too.
Mhm,
Reach out.
mhm.
Hey, like to do Zoom? Love to hear about what you do.
Yeah,
Um, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. It doesn't have to be, hey, you want to do Zoom, see what I do? Or, hey,
what
it
you-
doesn't have anything to do with your cart. Yeah.
Right.
It's
Let's
just,
zoom. I can send you a card. There's all kinds of games.
yeah, let's catch up. What have you been up to these days? You know, kind of like take a step back. Take a step back on insisting yourself to send cards every time you see something going on. You know, take a step back and just let your promptings work for you.
Yep, they will.
Yeah, they will. They will. So
All right,
it's just
we'll
like
leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up with that. Yep.
Mic
You
drop.
got it. You got it. Yeah, mic drop. All right, everybody. Thanks for being with us.
Take
Again,
care.
share, move, act on your promptings, and life will be better for you and for the people around you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's what we can control.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's what you control.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's what, if you were on George's call on Monday night, he had a great exercise for everybody on there. And one of the questions on there, after you kind of go through the exercises, what can you control?
Mhm.
What can you control? So, all right, we're off. See you
See ya.
next week.
Have a great weekend.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.